Okay, I'm Sandy Klopp with American Jane, and I want to show you about my new line. I have a line called ABC and 123, and it comes with two panels. The first one makes a darling little book. I should open it the way you read it. Has big images of toys, fruit, telephone, great fun things. It's very easy to make. The instructions are across the top, the binding across the bottom. You just sew the top and the bottom, and voila, you have a little book. The second panel is an alphabet panel, and it comes in three different colorways. There's cream background, there's a blue background, and it comes with a red background. For this one, I just cut up a charm pack to border the panel. The next one, I combined the two panels to make a little bit bigger quilt, and I used the book across the top with the little images, and then joined the alphabet letters so they made two full stripes, and then more panels on the bottom. Just takes a little bit more yardage, additional yardage from the bolts, but it would make a darling present with the quilt and a little book to go with it, and then they could match up the images in the book with the ones on the quilt. You could do a whole room around this line of fabric because it's adorable. My curtain up above, I used the images from the book and just did the little valance, but that would also make a darling crib skirt. You could do linen out of those for the bed, pillows, and then beside all the quilts. I used the alphabets from the panel and just used my pin dot line for the stars around this one to make just a little quilt. I built alphabet blocks and sewed them onto yardage from my last line, School Days, for a little floor cloth, but this could also make darling pillows for a twin bed or pillowcase fabrics with border edge, great fun things. The quilt on the side here is called Every Which Way. It's a darling quilt made with two charm packs and one jelly roll. So it's very easy. You only sew muslin squares onto the charm pack and two legs out of the jelly roll. And I had a few jelly roll strips left, and so I did little mini blocks all around the edge. Little tiny ones, 4 little arrows to equal one of these. And it's bordered with the Pezzy fabric. The one on the table is done with a layer cake, and you get 3 squares, 3 blocks out of one each square of the layer cake. You only need extra yardage of the black for the border and a few extra blocks. So that's a really efficient one to quilt. I've had some templates that I've used to make lots of my patterns. There are 4 templates. They're designed to work with jelly rolls. So I have a 2.5 inch, a 4.5, for that goes with 2 jelly rolls, and a 6.5, which will equal 3 jelly rolls. But now we have a new template to split that equilateral triangle into thirds. And it's quite easy. The long skinny template fits right on a jelly roll. You cut a long skinny line, and then putting 3 pieces together, there's a hole on the template so that you can mark the spot where you stop sewing for the Y seam, but then you just sew the second piece of fabric back on itself, layer the third, and you know where you've stopped sewing, and so you start at the outside edge, go in and stop where you stopped before, flip it around, and sew the third seam, and you end up with a split triangle. Press all the way around counterclockwise, and it lays very flat, and it makes a fun little unit. You can, on my template, I have a fun little star. Can you see that? 6 of them in the center make a little star, and then 6 on the outside make a large star point, which is very fun. But the quilt got kind of big, so we have another little 5-inch template to cut it down, trim it down just a little bit, and I did a big circle quilt on the outside wall here. It's a big round one using this unit only in different colorways. Voila, thank you for coming.